And my next guest has been on the show a number of times before, Lisa Niver. And she's a travel expert, and now she's an author. She's a speaker, and she does all kinds of stuff. She's literally, we should have the Johnny Cash song playing, I've Been Everywhere, because she literally has been everywhere. Anyway, welcome to the show, Lisa. How you doing?
Hi, Mike. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on the show. That was an awesome intro. I'm going to get that song.
Well, very good. Well, I know that it's been a while since you've been on the show. I think last time you were calling us from L.A. Convention Center on a big international travel show, and you'd been riding a camel that afternoon.
You have a very good memory. That's right. I was at the adventure show.
And what if... Go ahead.
That was fun. I was going to say, most recently, I got to see some wild animals, and I got to walk with them. That was really incredible.
Well, I want to get into that in a little while. In fact, I'm looking at your picture surrounded by a lot of kids and a lot of the people that live there, and I think that's what you want to be talking about. But I want to touch a little bit, so for the folks that don't know you yet, talk to us a little bit about, what got you here in the first place. I know you were interested. Weren't you a teacher to start off with?
Yes, you are correct. I grew up being a camp counselor. I always loved being around kids, and I decided to be a teacher. But I also have always, like you said, loved traveling. And I think one of the things that really was very stamped in my brain about being a traveler, when we were little, my parents took us on a cruise, and we went, and I saw the pyramids, and I saw the Parthenon, and I felt like my history books had come to life.
Wow.
And it was really, I think it's an imprint for me as an educator about how do you make something very interesting and engaging. But as a student, I remember reading stuff about the Greeks and the Egyptians and just thinking they were so old and it was so boring. And then I was there and I was like, how can anyone make this boring?
Right. It's funny because you just made me think of it, and this is what I love about doing the show and having great people on like you, is it always sparks my memory to go different places. But I traveled as a kid, and that's how I got so, impassioned with it as well. And I'm wondering if there should be some organization who focuses on just taking kids around the world. You know what I mean? I mean, before you're 12 or 13 years old, you should be out of the country by now and doing, at least visiting one or two places, because that sort of sets the tone for the rest of your life. And maybe a lot of the adults that missed out on that as a kid, maybe when they're doing those times, like I have a friend right now over in Florence, Italy, and they're doing Venice and all that, and they're kind of acting like kids. Maybe that's what the magic of travel is it lets us sort of be kid-like again.
Well, I think you're onto something, because when you look at different traditions, a lot of, Buddhists or different Eastern cultures talk about a beginner's mind. And when you're in another country and you don't understand the language and you can't count, and you don't know how to find the bathroom, you do, I think, in some ways feel like a child, because as adults we're used to feeling, empowered and strong, and we know what to do all the time, and if we don't, we pretend.
Right, in control.
When you're traveling, even for me, I try to learn the language wherever I am, even if it's only 5 words. And my accent is generally not very good, so I've had a lot of trouble. They're funny stories, but, I make the effort.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things is, how engaged are you with people that believe something that's different than you, or people that aren't like you? We are very much in our bubbles. Like you were saying that, people don't even leave their zip code to go to taste wine.
Mm-hmm.
But, to go be somewhere where you're like, I can't read the sign. I'm completely lost. Like I've been places where only because of the kindness of strangers I got on the right bus. They're like, lady,
right.
This is not for you.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's partly it's the language, and then it's partly the food. And then, of course, that all is a reflection of, I guess, the culture that you're visiting at the time. But, I mean, when you can take a little bit of effort to say hi or thank you or, what is this, or I like this, this is good. Because when they're offering you food or so, I'll never forget I was hiking in Nepal for a month, and we were trekking, and we come into these little villages, and the people they had nothing, but they would offer us some tea. So we'd sit down and have this tea, but it had fermented yak butter And it was like, for them, it was like saying, this is our very best half and half, right? Because, I mean, they don't always give that out to people. And I'm looking at it like, But you know what? You tried anyway, and they smile the whole time, and then they respect you because you at least tried their stuff.
I do think, respect is something I've been thinking a lot about being in the U.S. the last 2 weeks, and I think that it is something that really does make a difference, that whether we agree or disagree with people, whether they speak the same languages or they don't, we need to really be respectful.
Good. That's a great way to segue into a commercial. But we got another minute or so we're going to go there. But, that is so important. And when that we're the antidote for the rest of the week, so we don't talk about politics. But what a great opportunity to go out and travel. And you're telling us about worldwide stuff, but we don't have to have any disagreements about it because we're just sharing your experiences and stuff like that. So very good stuff. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. We're talking with Lisa Niver. We've got a long way to go here, so stick around. This is The Good Life. I'm Mike Rayford. And welcome back, everybody. Mike Rayford here in search of the good life with all y'all. So, by the way, that is what they say in Texas. That's the plural of y'all, is all y'all. That's just a bit of trivia there. Anyway, Lisa, how'd you like going out on that one, huh? We got you your Johnny Cash.
That was amazing. You guys, it's like being on a cooking show. And, you whip it up, and then they open the oven, and you're like, here's the finished cake. There
it is. Yeah, well, Santos, my engineers, always got good flavors of music going on back there, so that's a good thing. Well, listen, so we covered your intro and everything. Now we're going to get into what you actually do. I have to just say, a lot of respect for you. I mean that sincerely. You have got over 2 million views on all your videos that you're done. You do them like a champ. You got 135,000 plus followers on social media, things that, influencers drool over that they want. You've got great sponsors like American Airlines, which I'm flying tomorrow, by the way. I'm going to the East Coast on American. Maybe they'll comp me a drink or something because I mentioned your name. What do you think?
You can try it. I don't have high hopes for you on that one, but go ahead.
Anyway, well, tell us how you did that and how people, how did it turn into this traveling blog lady?
That's a good question. So my website is We Said Go Travel, and that's my handle on all social media, my YouTube videos, and the website. And honestly, it's kind of evolved over time. When I first started the website, I actually started the website because I'd written a book and we were promoting the book, and then there was Facebook. And I remember going out to dinner one night and a woman saying, I think you need to be on Twitter. And it was really early days for Twitter. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. And it seems impossible right now for someone to say they don't know what Twitter was, but right. I really didn't know what it was. And so it's just I've been adding each thing as someone recommends it. And honestly, the video, someone said to me, like, it's great that you write and it's great that you travel, but you really need to be in video. And I started in video. I bought a used Cisco Flip on eBay for $50, and I just started.
That's really the best advice. And honestly, it's one of the hardest things. And I'm talking about me too. I mean, you can get experts and people that are doing it and they're sitting right in front of you and they're showing you and they're telling you. But really the deal is you got to start. So that's really the key ingredient to any of this. I noticed that you've got a lot of tips and, a bit of a mentoring program for other wannabe travelers or travel writers or travel bloggers. So it sort of evolved from your experience to people saying, gosh, I love what you're doing. I wish I could do something like that. And now I think you're spinning another part of your business into helping other people sort of accomplish their dreams.
Thank you. It's been really exciting. Right now, the second photo award is open. It's free to enter. Last year, we had almost 500 entries, and I think the photographs were really beautiful. Our judges had a hard time picking the winners. There were so many great photos, and I think one of the things I always recommend to people when they're getting started is don't spend money. People say to me, I have to buy my custom URL and I need a logo and I need someone to help me pick the best name. And my advice is really don't spend any money. Start doing long form on Facebook or, enter an award or get a free site like a blogger or something where the commitment's low because in the beginning, no one's watching what you're doing anyway. So it doesn't have to look perfect. Well, it never has to look perfect, but you just have to get started and then see how much you like it.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people, write once a month. Write on whatever my birthday's this month. My birthday's the 18th. So I'd say, write every month on the 18th. Do once a month. Because people start out with these ridiculous, unrealistic expectations. I'm going to write every day. I'm like, you know what? Most of us aren't that interesting every day.
Well, at least to not many more than 135,000 people.
Well, everybody has to start somewhere. And
no,
so
you're
that's
right.
what I recommend is, don't spend a lot of money and make a commitment to yourself. Some people could do it. When I started, I did write once a week, and that was enough because I was working full-time teaching and I was doing as a side hustle the writing. And, I don't think that my writing was so good and I don't think that many people were looking, but whatever you do, get better. You can take 100,000 photos that they'll get a little bit better. You're like, oh, and ask questions. That's the other thing. There's so many courses online. There's so many people that want to be helpful.
Yeah.
I go to all kinds of conferences.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
That's a great way to go is you meet other people at other conferences and you get to meet all strata there. You get to meet the newbies and you get to meet the real pros and everybody benefits from that. Well, speaking of pros and newbies, I've got a sidekick here with me, Chuck. Call him Chuck Malibu. He's an old surfer from Malibu, but he comes and hangs out with me once in a while. And he's got a question for you. He's been traveling to Copenhagen, I think, when he was a kid. And we were just talking about getting out of your zip code as a kid. So, Chuck, turn it over to you. Ask what were you wanting to talk to Lisa about?
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Chuck. Nice to meet you.
You too, and happy birthday. It's a great month.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Listen, when I was young, about 27 or so, I was fortunate to go and fly into Copenhagen, grab a cruise line, and go into all the fjords, or not all, but a lot of the fjords in Norway, and then took a train over some mountains and reconnected with the boat, and then went over to Sweden and some other places. But, what do you think of that northern traffic, the cruise lines up there in that area?
Well, it sounds like you had an amazing trip. I love that part of our planet. I worked actually on a cruise ship for a few different ones, but for almost 7 years, and I loved sailing up there. I loved Estonia. I loved going to Tallinn. But I think cruising, for me, cruising is a great way to experience a bunch of destinations and only unpack once.
Right.
That's a good tip. Only unpack once. So, as far as seasonally, though, I mean, they're limited with their season. I suppose those are summertime only destinations, right?
It depends. If you want to see, for the most part, they're sold as summer destinations. I believe that Hurtigruten has a almost much longer season. I'm not sure that they're completely year round, but there's cruises now where you can go see the Northern Lights. So some of it depends. You can only see the Northern Lights when it's dark, so it doesn't work in the summer.
Yeah, that's true.
Although I did see the Northern Lights. Well, it was September. So I guess in the middle, depends how far north you are. When I was cruising in Alaska, we used to have, I think, 20 hours of daylight. But, so it depends where. But they've been trying to convince me I was in Quebec City in May, and they want me to come back for Winter Carnival. And I do love to ski, and I like winter, but I was like, ooh, I think it's really cold there. So I'm trying to decide. They told me there's no such thing as bad weather. There's only bad clothing. I
see. Well, that makes a little bit of sense too. But I know that if you commit to a winter expedition in the Northeast, you are really committed. Because I know when you were out here a couple of years ago and you went to Tahoe, you can still go up and do the skiing and do the snow, but you can also just drive back down to San Francisco in a couple hours and you're good to go. If you're in Quebec, you ain't getting out till spring. I think Chuck had another.
Lisa, real quick, what was most unusual was the sun. The sun had a set kind of around 4:00 in the morning. It would kiss the horizon and then rebound and start the new day. And it was pretty unusual for me. It was pretty neat to see, though, I have to say.
Wow, it sounds great. It sounds like you should write a travel story about this amazing adventure.
Okay, well,
He's got his pencil out right now. By the way, just for all the listeners out there, besides when you go to Lisa's blog, she has an annual photography entry that you can do, like she was talking about. But you also, are you still doing the stories where you can enter in a story as well?
I have taken a short break from those.
Okay.
It seems that people are much more interested in the photo award.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been thinking about going back to the writing award, but I haven't had it right now. I've been super focused for myself on making videos and growing my videos, and I've been doing some travel segments for KTLA, the television station in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm very clear there's only 24 hours in a day. I was trying to get like 26 or 27, but it stopped working.
Yeah, no, I know. I've even gotten, I've seen enough of the little YouTube videos that tell you how to, Aristotle only had 24 hours a day and that kind of thing. So the key is to get up early. So I'm up at 5 every day now, which is really, honestly, if you knew me before, that's just not my thing. But it does give you a few extra hours, and I am getting a little more productive. So I guess the key to it is less sleep, get up earlier, and just keep chugging away. But, I want to get to your travels. We're kind of rolling up on the end here, but I want to give you some time to talk about one of the blog articles that I'm looking at right here is what is the best way to travel from Tanzania to Kenya? So I presume that that's partly like a sampling of some of the types of questions that you get from folks out there that read your stuff or that meet you on the road or whatever. But it's also a great way to start a blog article. Tell us a little bit about that, and you were going to talk about the transportation issue.
So last year I was doing a project 50 Things Before I Was 50, and I really wanted to go to my 100th country. So I went to Tanzania. That was my 100th country, which was amazing. So I went on safari with Abercrombie and Kent on their small group luxury tailor-made journey, and we stayed in this incredible tented camp with sanctuary retreats. And then we traveled overland from Tanzania into Kenya. And I've actually traveled quite a few land borders in Asia, but I haven't spent that much time in Africa, and it was just so interesting to see the different people and go through the borders. And I had learned, my 5 or 10 words of Swahili when we were in Tanzania, but when we went to Kenya and to the Masai Mara, the Masai speak Masai. And so I kept trying to use I'm like, Jumbo! And they're like, no, that's not what we speak. But I do have some video footage of the guys at Sanctuary Kichakani, which was my favorite camp. I loved it there. They all sang me the song in Swahili, and it was so beautiful. So nice.
Sounds great. And did you get to meet and hang out with the Maasai as well?
Oh, my goodness. I got invited to a Maasai village that was near Sanctuary Olanana, where we were staying. And I spoke with the chief of the village. His name was Richard. And I asked for permission if I could bring my hula hoop. And the chief wasn't exactly sure what I was talking about. So I showed him a video because I had hula hooped with some of the staff at Sanctuary Kichakani. And he saw the video and he's like, oh, okay, you could bring your hula hoop. So the Maasai warriors do a performance when you come visit. They do kind of like a jumping.
Right.
It's a jumping. I don't know if they would call it a dance, but jumping performance.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of their performance, and they're very good jumpers, Chief Richard says to me, okay, now Lisa. So I hula hoop. They'd never seen a hula hoop ever. And then we invited some of the warriors to hula hoop. So a couple were willing to try it, and one of the men was excellent. And the other warriors just thought it was hysterical. It's actually on the video. One of the warriors is laughing so hard, he falls down.
Well, there's an invitation to watch some great video. I can't wait. I've got it up in front of me here, but I don't dare watch it now because I probably will laugh so hard I won't be able to talk to you anymore. What a great idea, Lisa. It's those little innocent things like that. What a great idea. Here's a bunch of Maasai warriors that, I've seen ever since I've been a kid. I've seen the way they jump, and they have their cows that they really take care of very well. I mean, they're cattle farmers in essence, but to think that those sort of proud warrior type guys would be, trying to hula hoop of all things. What a crack up. I got to watch that one. Well, where can people hook up with you and find you, and where are you going next?
Oh, that's a good question. So the best place to find me is We Said Go Travel. It's my website, all across social media, and the YouTube videos for We Said Go Travel. And where am I going next is I'm actually so honored. My college roommate is being honored for her work with Living Beyond Breast Cancer. So I'm on my way back to Philadelphia where we went to college, and I'm going to the award ceremony with her.
How cool is that? Well, that's really great. Well, listen, it's always a pleasure speaking with you, and I hope that we can get together when you're up in Northern California one of these days. But I know LA is sort of your hub. I'm going to be doing a bit of traveling down there this winter, so let's stay in touch, and maybe our itineraries can allow us to get together one of these days.
That would be so great. Thank you so much for having me on your show, and let me know when Chuck writes this story.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll have him send that in a picture. All right, everybody, listen. Thanks, Lisa. Everybody, Lisa Niver, go check her out on wesaidgotravel.com. Now, stick around. This is wesaidgotravel.com. Now, stick around. This is wesaidgotravel.com. Now, stick around. This is